welcome to the 50
most influential women
in West Michigan.
I just feel like all of these businesses feel very empowered due to the economy. And it's a good time also that women empowerment is on the forefront. So it excites me to be a part of this and at this time for Grand Rapids. And I think that I'm very inspired by a woman advocating for a woman, but I'm even more so inspired by a man advocating for a woman. So I hope to see more of that here in West Michigan.
Be independent. Being the woman that you want to be is really the mindset in my mind. But right now in the today's world, it is hard to be yourself. It's hard to have this self-awareness of who you really are, what you want to be, because you look at the social medias, you look at everyone, one is paying too much attention on what they want to be in other people's eyes.
You know, I've always had an itch for really wanting to make significant positive social change, and it's been in my genes ever since I was a teenager, and why have I chosen occupation, and I would say the Community Foundation is very actively involved in many aspects of this community. So it's once you start, you can't stop.
It's a responsibility. It's to be role models to others, to encourage others to go out and get involved as well. And so I think that it's that. You tend to, as you get more and more involved, to have a lot of connections. And so using those connections to connect resources, connect people that can help each other, just to move things forward.
I guess I'd like to continue to see our community diversify in terms of the industries that we have here. So I'd love to see further growth in our technology sectors, continuing growth in automation, really making sure that not all of our eggs in West Michigan are in one basket.
I think it's important as women not to just be okay with saying, oh, it's the idea of this being a male-dominated industry or a male-dominated community or a male-dominated world, that this is what we live in, this is what we are handed. Because it's not. We're here too, but it's on us. We need to be there. We need to be present. We need to be at the table, and then we need to show up the next day.
For someone who actually, started from the Philippines, migrated here in the U.S. or just right after college, and then, just going up the ranks in Silicon Valley and then moving to West Michigan, I never imagined that I would be here someday. And so I want to show my daughter that, an immigrant from the Philippines could be here and could influence and be a great example to her.
I think West Michigan is so welcoming for women to stand up, find their voice, and make a difference. And this is one of those places where if you have something you bring to the table that can make change happen in a positive way, I think this community is like, come on in, and super welcoming, super empowering, and we're really blessed.
So I go back to having a strong and nurturing social network and social capital. We know when you want to go somewhere, you can't get there alone. So having a strong network of mentors, coaches, advocates can play a key impact and a key role in helping women grow personally, professionally. They can help remove barriers. They can open up opportunities, open doors.
I love when people ask me what it is about West Michigan that inspires me, especially because I'm a transplant. I am a proud daughter of the city of Detroit, but I relocated to Grand Rapids when I was 21. And so I love to say that in many ways, I am now bi-coastal, that Detroit birthed me, but Grand Rapids in many ways has shaped my identity as a professional. And so for the last 20 years, I've called this community home.
I think in West Michigan, we need to be willing to shake things up. We have a lot of historic systems and things in place that have been a certain way, and in recent years, those things have started to move and change. But it takes persistence, a lot of patience, and a lot of innovation to really see things, imagine things in our community to be the way that we want to be for the future.
You know, influence is a privilege, and there's also responsibility that goes along with that. I think that women making sure that other women are well supported is so important when we look at how women influence community. There's a lot of good things that happen here, and there's a lot of terrific women that are supporting each other.
I think you need to be a supporter of other women in the community, to be a champion of all the other things that people are working on and doing, to support their businesses, their nonprofits, their general purposes, if you will. I think it's just important to be a champion of the other women who are doing amazing things, because that's really what has helped to influence me over the years. So it's great to be able to be a part of that community.
I believe as a public servant, my responsibility is to listen. What I find is that when people come to me with, whether it's with a problem or needing help, even if they're really, really angry, they need to be heard. And sometimes I think, especially right now in our world, we're just not listening to one another.
The biggest challenge that I have faced just in the recent past is moving from a for-profit organization to a nonprofit organization. The differences aren't that extreme, but it is different. It's different going from running an organization with 1,800 people reporting to me to now 45 to 50 people reporting to me. And there are differences, but I love what I'm doing right now.
Well, we definitely still need more women in leadership throughout the community, and again, particularly minorities and other underrepresented classes, so veterans, individuals with disabilities. West Michigan, again, is a great place for a lot of us to thrive, but not everyone, so we still need to help. Again, bring all voices to the table and make sure everyone's successful.
The solution, in my mind, to total devastation in your life is to never, never give up. And for me, it was very difficult to share my story in the very beginning, because I was so shrouded in shame and guilt for what I thought I had done that in fact, I didn't even tell people I was a doctor. Until all of a sudden I noticed the love, kindness, caring, and compassion that was being exuded by members of this community.
I have chosen Western Michigan for so many reasons. Like, I'm just deeply rooted to this community. I think it started with my great-grandfather. He started a regional bank, and from there, the value of community has just been passed on from generation to generation. And I know that I'm not alone. Like, almost 90% of all of our businesses here in Western Michigan identify as family-owned. So this idea of this community value of giving back to our neighbors, to the rest of our community, is one that I share with so many.